Hello and welcome to another episode of the Gamers of the Lost Spark podcast. This is episode 3 on the 27th of May 2015. I'm Antony Chesson and joining me as always is the other Spark on the pod, and that's Darren Withen. Darren, say hello.
Hi Antony, and hello everybody. So Antony, how's your week been since the last podcast?
Week's been good. Week's been really good. It's been full of The Witcher. Playing a lot of Witcher and some other games as well. I managed to get some other games in there. Bank holiday was great fun. I have grown accustomed, or a bit of an addiction to a certain t-shirt manufacturer online. It's a t-shirt called Dark Bunny Tees, and I went a bit crazy. I'm about to go on holiday this week, so I went crazy on their website and ordering some really cool tees. You know, they got like movie tees. I've got one with like Ghostbusters, and I've got a couple of Star Wars ones as well, which are very cool. So I'm going to be rocking those tees. What about you, Darren? I heard you went on a bit of an arcade hunt in Blackpool.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. So I'd been hearing a few good things about a new arcade game, and like, you know, it's quite rare these days to get excited about a new arcade game because we can do it so much better at home. And there's an arcade game called Star Wars Battle Pod, and I'd been reading some good things about it, saying it was an immersive experience. You sit in this in a pod, sort of that's fashioned to be like a cockpit of I don't know what ship, but sort of a generic cockpit, because I think it fits a few different ships that you may fly. So I did a little looking up, bit of research, and found that we did have one in Blackpool, because we still do have a lot of arcades here on the promenade. So Blackpool's not that far for me to get to, so I travelled down. My son's just starting to get into Star Wars as well, which is great, because I've just been waiting for the time when he's going to get into Star Wars. He doesn't watch the whole thing yet, but he knows who Darth Vader is, and he likes the Death Star trench run. And so I said, right. Yeah, and I got the GameCube out, and we've been attacking the Death Star together. Well, he's been watching me because the controls are a bit difficult for him at the moment. So there was one there, so we went on a mission to find it, and we found it. So yeah, Star Wars Battle Pod. It's it's not a hydraulic cabinet or anything like Space Harrier or Galaxy Force 2. I think those type of games from the days of yore. But it's sort of a little pod. You go in, you pull the door back, and you sit inside it in a single chair. And there's a throttle on the left, and there's a joystick on the right, and it's sort of a curved screen in front of you. So you're very immersed. You're very close to it, and the screen it goes all around you. To sort of to your ears from where you sat, so it curves all the way round, and it uses a projector that projects down onto this curved screen. And yeah, I had a couple of goes. Did the Death Star run? I think there's about 6 different levels you can select at the start. Whichever level you select, you play. But if you fail or succeed, that's it. You have an experience of one level, and then it's another £2 for another shot.
Right, so it doesn't take you on to like the next level, so you don't do you don't do the Death Star and then you do Hoth or something like that.
No, there's no reward for success.
It's just the fun and the experience and that kind of. I've seen it. I haven't seen it in the flesh. I've seen it kind of online and people do reviews. It looks incredible, and you showed me that video that you took as well, and it just looks amazing. It just looks really good. Yeah. I want to try and find one.
Yeah, you're proper in there. It's really immersive. It's really cool. But yeah, I did the Death Star run, and then so went through it. It's really cool. It's sort of on rails, but it's really good, and you just feel you're there. Then I didn't fire my proton torpedo in time to go down the exhaust port, so I failed.
I was just going to ask you that if you were strong with the Force.
Yeah, you think? I don't think I turned off my targeting computer or something like that. So. I had another go because Sam was a bit gutted because he was on my knee, and I was like, right, come on, we'll do it this time. So we did it again. Success. They both went down. Big explosion. It was like, woohoo! It was really cool. And then it's like, right, if you want to carry on, another £2, just the same as if I failed.
Wow.
So, but it's good though.
But was it good?
Yeah.
Did it have a big queue? Was there a big queue, or were you kind of like, did you have it to yourself?
Yeah, I had it to myself. There was no one around. I was really shocked, but
wow.
All the better for me, really. So yeah, I'd recommend it if you've got one near you. Have a go. It's really cool. Graphics are maybe a little bit more blocky than I expected, or than they could be. But it doesn't matter, because once you're in there and flying around, it's really awesome, really immersive, and that's worth a few quid of anyone's money, I'd say.
Awesome. Excellent stuff. So what else have you been playing?
This week, mainly Witcher 3. What a big surprise there. Yeah, at first, as I discussed last week, I was finding it a bit clunky and a bit difficult. And I was sort of thinking, we need a patch. I was thinking, as I played it more and got more into it and my muscle memory started to forget Bloodborne, I was thinking maybe I'm just asking for a patch to get me better. I just need to get good at Witcher 3. Something happened
right.
I think yesterday, I played it again, and all of a sudden the switch flicked, and I'm just completely into it now. I've got used to the menus, I've got used to the controls. The patch downloaded itself yesterday, which we'll come to a little bit later, and I don't know if that's got anything to do with it, but all of a sudden it's all clicked together for me, and I'm loving it. And I know I've got this feeling that I haven't had, or don't get very often, where I just want to get back on The Witcher. I'm thinking I want to play more of The Witcher, and I got this feeling after a few hours in, and I'm thinking, wow, I've got so much adventure in. Yeah, so The Witcher, and I've been streaming a bit of Spelunky as well. After all my trials and tribulations now, I've been playing it just for fun and just streaming it out there so people can watch my skill or lack of it. And I've had a few viewers watching me on that, and that's my gaming really for the week.
Oh, fantastic. I mean, I've been playing The Witcher as well. I didn't put as much time as I wanted to, just because there's been some other stuff that's been out. But I'm still kind of galloping up to a town and pulling out my sword when I mean to kind of dismount from my horse or something like that. So I'm scaring villagers left, right and centre. I'm glad there's not some kind of, like in Mass Effect or something like that. I would be in the dark side if there was that case, because I keep scaring everybody. But I got to a part where I took down a griffin. I don't think it's a big spoiler because they're kind of everywhere. They're all over the place. And what I just have to say is that it's just, you look so badass after that, because you have a griffin's head attached to your horse. Attached to Roach is this head of a griffin, and I'm now just like galloping around, absolutely loving it. And I did find that I kind of moved on the story a little bit, and I found that I went back to the original village, because there was lots of side missions that I hadn't completed. So it's really got me. It's really got, I don't want to go there. Yeah, I know what I've got to do for the story mode, but I've got all of these bounties. I've got all of these other things that I want to do. And I'm just having a ton of fun with it. It's just really good. That control system, I'll get used to it. It's just me. It's not the game, but I'll get used to it. But it's amazing, and it's really cool, because you finally have this game that people come around to your house and you're like, check this out. Look at the sunsets. Look at the graphics on this, and look at the gameplay and the bosses and things like that. And people are just kind of in awe of the game when they see it running. So it's a real kind of next gen experience, I think, even on the Xbox One.
Yeah. Even us slumming it on consoles, it's still really amazing. And I'm finding that it's taking my breath away more and more. It's not sort of an instant thing where it just, which it did. I still was like, wow, straight away, but it's growing on me, and it's evolving, and it's getting better. The more I play it, and I've been quite similar to you. I did the Griffin. I mean, really, it's sort of teaching you how to do a battle. Really, I don't think that's a spoiler at all.
No.
And then I went off and pursued the main quest line a little bit, where I had to meet a witch, and she turned out to be an acquaintance. I'm not sure how relevant the acquaintance is, because I'm not that up on my Witcher lore. But we went off and quested in a dungeon, and it was ridiculously hard. And it recommended level 5, and I think I was 3. And basically, I paid the price, and I had to really work to get through this. I thought I was going to have to just quit and go back, but I managed to do it. And after that, I thought, you know what? I just want to go around and do the stuff that's scattered around the undiscovered locations and the side quests. And so I also have gone back to what's it called?
But I don't know about you, but I find that those side quests are so fully formed that they don't feel like side quests. Even if they are kind of go and get this from here and come back, they still feel quite quite deep, quite rich for a side quest.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I love Borderlands, but some of the Borderlands are just kind of go and collect this, this, and this, and then come back, and it just feels like that's what you're doing. But with The Witcher, it just feels like there is more to it. You're finding out maybe about a character, and I've actually had, I've done a side mission for a character, and I've met him later, and I reaped the reward for doing the quest instead of ignoring him, saying I haven't got any time for this. You know, I'm off. That's so long. You know, here I did the reward, and I did the quest, and I got a reward for it. So later on in the game, which I really quite liked. I quite like that.
Yeah, I'm right with you there. It's so fleshed out, isn't it? It's like these side quests, they're so fleshed out. It's as if they're just part of the world, and it sort of immerses you more in the world because it's more believable, and it's not just go and follow the pointer and bring this back. It just feels right, and it feels really right within the context of the world, and the acting. You know, it's not just cheap acting, isn't it? Is it? You know, the writing for these side quest characters and things. You know, you can get involved. You can get involved in every aspect. And something else which is strange, I find that I don't want to run. Because I'm missing out on the world. I just get off my horse and then I'm running and I'm like, this is too quick. I want to take it in, so I end up just sort of strolling around,
just striding around the countryside
at a leisurely pace. And
that game's going to take you. They say about 200 hours. It's going to take you about 500 hours just because you're strolling around.
It's too beautiful to rush past.
Yeah, it is lovely. I just love it when you get a game like this that really does kind of capture you, really does kind of, you know, hold you. Now, I mean, I haven't spoken to you about this, but have you been playing the Gwent kind of side quest? Is it called Gwent?
Yeah, Gwent, the card game. I have a little bit, and I feel like I'm really rubbish at it at the moment. I've won a few games, and I like it, and I'm looking forward to collecting more cards, but I haven't really found any good ones. But yeah, what do you think of it?
Yeah, no, same here. I kind of played it in like the opening kind of tutorial. Had a play there. I haven't really played it again, but I noticed that when you look at one of your menus, it's just there. So I don't know is it just available to play at any time, or do you have to find a Gwent player in a tavern or a pub?
I think a lot of the NPCs play Gwent, and if there's an option, I'm seeing more and more. So I think as it starts, it holds back on the options, and now, like for me, I don't know how many hours I'm in. Not that many. I'm getting more and more sort of. Do you want to play Gwent with a lot of people that you meet? And one of the quests that's popped up is to play Gwent with people. And I did play Gwent with this innkeeper who said he was the best, and he completely destroyed me. He had loads of cards that was worth 10, and he just decimated me completely. And I was like, right, I'll wait and see if I can get some more Gwent cards. But it's a great little mini game. The only thing that stops me playing it more really is when I'm playing Gwent, I'm thinking I'm not walking around looking at everything. But yeah, it's really good, and I think I'm going to put some time into that. And they could make it they could have a multiplayer mod for that, or a patch to open it up, just have multiplayer Gwent.
They really could. Do you know what? That would be really cool. And then you and I could just play each other. I was thinking about maybe what we could do when we've got kind of a bit more into it. We could do a stream where you can play Gwent and A, teach me, and B, we can just kind of share kind of how we're playing it and how to play Gwent. So there's a bit of a homework for you there, Darren, to get good at Gwent and then show me how to win.
Yeah, we Gwent Tactics, and
there you go.
Yeah,
there you go. Gwent Tactics with the Gamers of the Lost Spark. That's our stream. That's what we want to do.
I thought you were saying Gwentastic then. Gwentastic, mate.
That would have been better if only I'd have thought of that. So, anything else on Witcher? What else are you...
Let me think. Yeah, at the moment, just before we started recording, actually, I was having a little stroll. And I tell you, the Griffin's Head doesn't do your swagger any harm at all on that horse. I was having a stroll round a place called Novigrad, which is the biggest city, I think, in the game. It's like this big, bustling city, and I thought all I wanted to do was just walk around it and have a look and see how it's been sort of personified in the game. And yeah, it's amazing. It sort of rises up from like the port. It's like a Westeros from Game of Thrones. I'm sure you'll see it soon, and you can tell me what you think. But it sort of reminded me of a Westeros, which is kind of, for me, I think it's going to be sort of like a Game of Thrones game. I'm just going to pretend it's Game of Thrones because it's kind of like it, because it's such a serious fantasy world. You know, it's gritty and real. So yeah, Game of Thrones simulator, unofficial.
Excellent, excellent. I mean, when I haven't been playing The Witcher this weekend, I've been dabbling in Mario Kart. I've been playing 2 games. One of them, Mario Kart 8. The second DLC hit a couple of weeks ago, and I haven't really kind of got around to having a game. So I just thought I'd throw on the Wii U, have a quick go of Mario Kart 8, and I love those 2 new packs. There's 2 new race courses that are available in the DLC. Zelda, or Link, is now a playable character. He's now one of the racers. And they have just some amazing tracks. Have you played it?
Yeah. When I got the first one, I paid
DLC?
for both. So the next one was just waiting in the wings. And for some reason, I thought it was for March. I don't know if it got delayed, but I was all excited for March. And anyway, it only came out a few weeks ago, as you said. And yeah, I haven't spent as much time as I would have liked to. But yeah, I think it's fantastic. I love the courses, and I love the 200cc mode as well.
Yeah, no, I haven't tried that. You and I really need to have a game of that soon. I must admit, the 2 standout courses for me are the Animal Crossing track that has different weathers or different seasons, and the F-Zero track as well, the blue one, Big Blue or whatever it's called. But the Animal Crossing track, I just love. I got all gushy about it on Twitter on Saturday after I played. I was like, this is why Nintendo have to make games, have to continue making games, because it was just incredible. It was such a great track, and it looked amazing, and the Animal Crossing characters looked fantastic. You know, I want to play an Animal Crossing game on the NX or the Wii U or something. I want to play a console Animal Crossing game because it looks fantastic. And there was so many standout tracks in that second DLC, but the F-Zero one I just found exhilarating. It was fantastic. I haven't tried the 200cc yet. I'm just building up to that. I've done the 50 and 100, so I'm building up to the kind of 200, but I had a ton of fun on it. Really enjoyed it. I think I actually enjoyed the second DLC more than the first one. Do you know if they're doing any more? Are they going to do any more DLC, or will they tell us kind of in their digital conference at E3?
Yeah, maybe they'll say something in the digital event, but I don't think so. I think that's it. And the reason that I say that is because we've run out of icons on the. You know, when you look at the cups, you know, it now fills the screen. I mean, yeah, they could change it, but I think. I get the feeling that that's their complete package now.
Right, and fantastic. You know, both those have been really good. You know, they could have been included in the box, but they weren't, and I was just glad that maybe it was Nintendo testing how to do DLC. And I was the same as you. You know, as soon as they said we've got 2 packs, pay for them now, I was just done. And the moment I turned it on, it was there waiting. You know, my Wii U had updated, downloaded the DLC. It was all just there, sitting there waiting for me to play.
Yeah. Well, you know me, I'm a bit of a skeptic. I don't think I've ever bought any DLC ever apart from this one, because I thought it was good value. I think it's DLC done right. You know, it's the game. The game is fleshed out as it is. One small thing that I wish they would sort out is the battle mode. I wish they'd change it to an open arena.
Right. Okay. I don't normally kind of get into the battle mode, but is it the same as it's always been, kind of like on N64, where you're running around and balloons?
Yeah. I haven't even played it because I read that it was just on the race course and it didn't work, and I just couldn't be bothered. But I think so. It's just the same, except you're just going around the course doing laps, and it doesn't really work because you need an open space, to sort of fight it out in. So yeah, I haven't even put it on because I just thought, well, I don't think it works, which is, you know, a bit strange. But if I do put it on, I'm just usually racing. I really like it, and I'm not very good at it. I don't think I've even got gold in all the cups on 50cc yet, so going up to 200cc was probably a bit stupid. It's so fast, man. It's like I've got to relearn how to play it. Is there a brake button? Because even when you're doing the drifting, I'm hitting the corners a lot, but that could be just because I'm not sure of the tracks. But I could sort of do with an air brake, and playing it on 200cc on the F-Zero course. Wow, it's like a spiritual wipeout for me. I was really happy.
Or it's like F-Zero.
Or F-Zero, indeed.
But no, there is one of the buttons. There is a brake on one of the buttons. Like you say, you don't normally press it. Normally, it's kind of just finger down on the accelerator, and that's it. It always cracks me up when I play with Nicola, my wife. When we play Mario Kart, she has this, like, where she's been kind of pressing her finger down so hard on the accelerate button, she has this indent in her finger, and it always makes me chuckle because she's like really kind of I don't know about you if you play with Claire, but the language that comes out of my very kind of petite, sweet wife when she's playing Mario Kart, the language that comes out, it's just, honestly, I learned new swear words. And put it this way, she doesn't like Princess Peach.
She educates you when she's getting mad at that game.
Yeah, I'm like, I really want to buy another Wii U so I can be in another room playing it. It's good fun. It's great fun. And another thing we've been playing is also we've been playing Destiny, so we've been continue playing House of Wolves, and at the weekend I jumped on and played some multiplayer, and I played the multiplayer that is Prison of Enders. Now, Prison of Enders is kind of a new fire team arena mode in Destiny, and it was fantastic. You kind of think of it as Firefight or Horde from Halo or Gears, where you have 5 rounds of enemies. They all get progressively harder and there's greater in numbers as well. And if you can take down all of those, so you can take down the 5 rounds, you get access to some loot chests. So there was so this was the first time that I played it. I've been given a key in the story mode, so I kind of went down to the bottom of this well where the loot chest was, opened up the 2 small ones that are available to everyone, and I spent my key, which is something I don't normally do. I'm always waiting around and waiting for a bigger level, and I spent my key on this big chest, and I unlocked something called the Saurus regime. Now, not getting too Destiny nerdy, but the guy I was playing with, he's a chap from IGN's podcast Unlocked, and the chap I was playing with, he said that was when I was like, he said, what have you got? And I said, I've got this Saurus regime, I don't know what it is, and he got incredibly excited that it was it's the best assault rifle in the game. So after that I was lauding it with my new assault rifle.
Wow.
So it was a real cool game, and it was really good. I really enjoyed it. You do need 3 players, obviously, and 3 players talking, because I tried to jump in again later with 2 people that didn't have headsets on or weren't talking, and it was really hard. We were dying all of the time, and it just got a little bit frustrating. So I find with those games, it really does help if you have a fully formed kind of fire team or a fully formed team that is chatting and communicating.
Yeah, I think that's key to it. So, is there a raid included in that DLC, or is it more concentrating on the sort of the fire team or the sort of arena matches?
No, there's no raid. In House of Wolves DLC, there's no raid. There's just new story missions. There's a new multiplayer mode called Trials of Saurus or something like that. And there's the Prison of Elders as well. And like I say, the Prison of Elders is just amazing. I still, to this day, haven't done a raid in Destiny just because I haven't had enough kind of people to join, like to group together to do a raid. I think we tried to do it before, but we failed right at the start when you had to kind of stand on 4 or 5 different pressure points, and we only had 3 people, and it just wasn't working. So I haven't tried a raid yet, but the Prisoner of Elders, I hope they continue doing that in other DLCs, because it was a ton of fun. It was really good.
Yeah, that's a shame you haven't done a raid, because I did a few, and I found them really enjoyable, really cool. But I've sort of lent the game out at the moment, so we can't hook up and do it. But yeah, I found that if you haven't got the right level, if you're not hard enough, it's just so hard. I mean, they're proper bullet sponge enemies that you just shoot and shoot and shoot for. I think me and a few friends took on a raid, and I forget which one it was, what the name is of it. And we thought, we'll just have a quick go at this raid, and we'll then go to bed. It's getting quite late doors. It took us like 3 hours, but we all got so determined, like a dog with a bone, and we did survive, and we did do it by the end. But crikey, it was a grind.
Really?
Yeah. And you said new story missions. Now the story, do I still have to keep story in inverted commas, or are we getting a bit of a fleshed out story?
No, I think we still need to do air quotes with story. So yeah, it's just a queen kind of calling upon guardians to help hunt down some fallen that once served her and have now kind of wronged her. And that's the story. So it is still kind of, go here, kill those people. But it's quite nice because it's just structured and it just bounces you round to each of the planets, new area that's opened up, and you just kind of kill some people, level up. up, get some new loot. I'm still trying to break that level 30. I'm level 29 and almost to 30. So I'll just keep going, and it's good fun. And as I was saying last week, it just looks amazing. With that and Witcher, and also Mario Kart. We've finally got next gen has come to my eyeballs.
Yeah, we're definitely sort of this is the time when the good games are breaking, and we're spoiled now. I'd add Bloodborne into that list, and Drive Club as well. And everything you sort of put on, you're like, wow, this is cool. This is what I spent my money on my screen for, and this is what I spent my money on my console for. This is the stuff, and good games with longevity and fantastic visuals and good gameplay. It's a treasured time for gamers.
Absolutely, and with that, I think it's kind of time that we got onto the news, because the news is all about kind of some new games that are coming out. My first piece of news, which broke this morning, which is the 27th of May, it broke this morning, which was that Halo ODST is going to be released on May 29th, potentially released. It was kind of slipped on Xbox.com that ODST, the kind of add-on or the free giveaway that was in the Master Chief edition, is going to be available on May the 29th, and it's clocking in at about 8.1 gig download. Now, the ODST, if you played Halo Master Chief Collection between launch day, so when it was launched, and December 19th, and that was the time where they had some serious issues.
Yeah.
This is free for you. So if you played it, if you clocked in just any amount of time, then this is free. If not, I don't know if they're going to kind of make you pay for it. If not, but this is just a kind of a freebie to thank everyone for that bumpy start, and also because we've got Halo 5 coming very soon as well. So I'm looking forward to ODST, because I am probably in a minority, but I did enjoy it. I did enjoy the kind of multiple story arcs and the different characters, and also anything with Nathan Fillion is good in my eyes.
Fantastic. Did ODST come out before Reach?
Yes, it did.
Okay.
Yes.
I think that might be the one I skipped, because I played one of them, and I think it might have been Reach. But yeah, that's really nice gesture to the guys that persisted and put up with the problems at launch of the Master Chief Collection. It's a nice gesture, and it's kind of win-win. Nice gestures to the fans, keeps the marketing momentum up, and the run up to Halo 5. Can't go wrong really, and they'll be charging as well for the other fans that want to get it and dive in.
Absolutely, and so all this does leave that's still on the old console is Halo Wars, and also Halo Reach as well. So they're the only two. So I know there's been a lot of rumours and a lot of kind of people kind of saying, well, if they're doing ODST, they must be doing Reach. But that would be great, and I know it's not Master Chief, but it would just, because it's another group of Spartans. But it would just be really good to just have all of them running at that kind of the 1080p 60 frames a second, clocking in at that. It would just be really nice just to see all of that.
Yeah, all that goodness. But if it's not Master Chief, it's not Halo really.
Absolutely, I mean, I do enjoy.
And Cortana, you need Cortana. I love Cortana.
Exactly, and as you were talking about earlier, the love interest between the two of them, which still weirds me out just a little bit. But yes, but no, absolutely, But it is nice that I can I've got a digital downloaded that, so it's nice that I have Halo at my fingertips whenever I need to, and it's nice and shiny Halo as well. And I haven't got into the multiplayer as much as I thought I would. When they announced it last E3, I was going crazy and thinking I was going to be just playing this and nothing but this. But I think because they had some problems, it did stop me playing the multiplayer, and I haven't really kind of got back into it. But I did complete all of the campaigns, so I did Halo 1 through to 4 co-op with Nicola. We did all of them and got through all of them on the Xbox One version, so we are ready for Halo 5.
How did it stand up? Did it season well over the years? I know it's been all done up and the textures and everything, but the gameplay is essentially the same. Did it stand up to playing, especially when you're doing one after the other? Was it a good experience?
It really was. It was just Halo. Again, it's just kind of like, watching a good movie. It's like watching one of your favourite movies. You just know you're playing Halo. You know the controls. You're in there and you're kind of really enjoying it. And it stacked up really well. And I just thought, even from Halo 1 all the way through, it just looked looked incredible, played incredible, and the stories are just great fun. And I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I love the music as well in the Halo games. I really, really love the music.
Yes.
I think it's fantastic. I should get the soundtrack because I really love it. From the first one, with the monks, and all that. I absolutely love it. And Microsoft must love Halo loads because they've got Cortana on their phones now as a sort of Siri. Is it Siri on Apple?
It is, and it's also, they said this week that Cortana, or the kind of a companion app, is also coming to iOS and Android as well. So I think it's going to be embedded in Windows 10 or part of Windows 10, and they're bringing out a companion app to help you with Windows 10 and to control it. But if you haven't got a Windows phone, then they're also bringing it to an iOS and Android as well.
Well, that's interesting because I was reading about Windows 10, and they're very much getting behind the concept of universal apps, aren't they? So
they are. I mean, I've got Office on my iPad. There's an Xbox app. There is, It's funny because I have an iPhone and I love kind of the Apple kind of system and their operating system, but I would really love to be able to just overlay the Windows phone system on my iPhone, because I had to play around with it. I had to play around with the Surface as well for a couple of weeks, and I really like it. I quite like it, and the fact that you can play games on there as well, so you can play proper games, not just kind of iOS games. You can actually play proper games on a Surface. It was a really nice experience.
Yeah, I think with the advent of Windows 10 and DX12. There's going to be a lot more sort of universality, if you like. That's got to be a better word than that, between all of your Windows devices, and I think Xbox One's going to benefit greatly from there. And they were discussing with HoloLens that they're going to be universal apps for HoloLens, so you're going to be able to sort of use them somehow with your Xbox or with your phone. And yeah, going back to Microsoft loving Halo, their new iteration of Internet Explorer is going to be called Spartan, I think, if I remember correctly. Have you heard that?
Wow. So that's really cool. No, that's really cool. So you have like a Spartan icon on your desktop, or if they have desktops in Windows 10.
Yeah. Well, I really don't know how it works. I just saw this thing and it said, new IE is Spartan. I might be wrong, actually. I might be getting completely mixed up. But I'm pretty sure that's what the name is. Yeah.
That's really cool. It's due out soon, isn't it? Windows 10. Windows 10's due out, and it's also a free upgrade if you have Windows 7 or above. You can get a free upgrade to Windows 10. So I have on one of my MacBooks, I have dual boot into Windows, so I'm gonna upgrade that to Windows 10.
Yeah. That I just wanted to clarify that. And the new Internet Explorer is going to be replaced with a new web browser called Spartan, and I may have a look into that and see if a report maybe a little bit more next week on it. Yeah. So there you go. Sorry, I went off the point a little bit there, but Microsoft do love Halo. They're calling everything Halo.
Microsoft love Halo. ODST's out on Friday, and that's the news. No, right.
There we go. Okay. I've got an item here. I don't know if you remember last week I mentioned Formula Fusion by R8 Games. And that is a spiritual successor to Wipeout, which I absolutely love and loved. I think Wipeout was one of the main reasons I got my PlayStation 1 in the first place, and it was a launch day game, and I got that and Toshinden. I only got Toshinden because I was waiting for Tekken, and that wasn't out, and it was a nice contrast. But anyway, I'm a really, really big Wipeout fan. I loved it on PS3. I love 2097. That was my favourite one. I think that was on PlayStation 1 as well. Anyway, they put themselves up on Kickstarter to get funded. I mentioned last week, and they were around 69,000 last week. They were okay because they got 35,000, so they'd got the money. It actually finished a couple of days ago, and they were finishing at £79,656 with 1,830 backers. From there, they've got themselves greenlit on Steam, and they're looking to give early access at the end of July for PC gamers who want to play it. So that's looking really good. Doesn't look like the console versions are a priority at the moment, but I'm sure if the PC one is a success, then they'll get it onto PS4 and Xbox One. And, PlayStation's its spiritual home anyway, so I'm sure they'd want to deliver it there at the very least. So yeah, Formula Fusion, it's going to be a thing. We're all going to get a nice, shiny space racing game, and I really love them. At least till we wait for Nintendo to bring out F-Zero on the NX or announce that soon.
That'd be fantastic. And and also with all of the conferences or all of the expos that are coming up over the summer, you would no doubt these guys will be kind of showing that game to all of the big publishers as well to see if they can bring it to consoles quite quickly.
Yeah, and I'm sure there'd be a lot of interest. Wipeout's sort of it's foundation of games and of showing off graphical prowess and playability coupled hand in hand. Wow, I should get onto the marketing department with that. So yeah, that's really cool. Another piece of news, got a new patch for Bloodborne. This is patch 1.04 for Bloodborne on PS4, improving and sorting out many more little aggravations that people have been mentioning in the game. I'll just go through some of the things that get fixed with this new patch. You can play 2-player on it. You can cooperate on online with the game, but you couldn't match. You couldn't link up if you had too many levels in between. But they've fixed this, so now you can do a password match. What you do is, if you want to link up with a person specifically, because it just randomly fetches somebody otherwise. But in Bloodborne, like the other Souls games, you can use a password, and if you both have the matching password, it links you together. Now, until this patch, you couldn't do that if you were 10 levels or 10% of levels are different from each other, but now they've decided that you can do that regardless of level. So if you dove into Bloodborne now, Antony, we could link up and I could sort of help you a little bit along the way, which I think is cool, and it'd help a lot of novice players. So yeah.
Absolutely, I could see some advantages. I could see some advantages of that. I would happily kind of play, alongside you, and you could kind of take me through the basics. So I kind of get that someone who's never played any of the Dark Souls or Demon Souls games to jump in a game that he really wants to jump into. That's really cool. I like that. That's a really good addition.
Yeah, I like that too. And it worked really well because I could sort of say, and the beginning is so hard. It really does it's a baptizing by fire sort of situation. I sort of nearly felt like giving up on it. But, yeah, I could say, right, watch this. This is what you need to do. And then I stand back and then you have a go. And then once, the hand holding had finished, you'd be like, okay, I'm up for going through this a bit on my own. Or we could just do the whole game together. Yeah, I like that. It's really cool. There's numerous other fixes. It mentions a bug of the rifle spear, which has been fixed. Now, this was a really overpowered weapon. I saw some YouTube videos on this, and if you got this particular weapon and did this, that, and the other with it, all of a sudden you could sort of one-shot pretty much every normal enemy, and the bosses just went down very easily, which isn't sort of the point of the game. Now, that's been fixed. Now, it doesn't use the term nerfed, so I'm not sure if they've stopped it, but a bug with the rifle spear has been fixed. I'm hoping that they've sort of brought it in line with the rest of the game, and it doesn't sort of make you the Lord of Bloodborne once you've done that. And yeah, other bugs have been fixed. So yeah, Bloodborne getting better and better with some continuous support from Software, which is great, and I really do think that's a good game. Though my frustration threshold sort of hit top barrier the other week, so I'm giving it a break and I'm playing The Witcher, which is more of a pleasure, even though the satisfaction of the risk-reward or the reward for your determination in Bloodborne is second to none. But because The Witcher is such a pleasure, and because time is short for us older gamers, with everything that we do on a day-to-day basis, Bloodborne's being shelved, but I know that I'll go back to it.
Indeed. Staying on PS4, the next piece of news is something that I have, which was on Bank Holiday Monday, a trailer dropped on the PlayStation blog, and it was a trailer for a game called What Remains of Edith Finch. I'd heard about this before. I think it was announced at the PSX, which was last year in Vegas, that Sony held. And this is from the studio Giant Sparrow. So this is from the makers of Unfinished Swan, which we were talking about and loving last week. So the trailer just looks incredible. So this game is called What Remains of Edith Finch. And the trailer just kind of went around. I don't know if you've seen it, Darren, but it looks incredible. It's going around the house, the Finch family house, and it's just kind of going around, and it's showing you some montages displayed up on the walls as if they're projected onto the walls or the stairs of what some of the gameplay would be like. And so I started looking into this game a little bit more, and it just looks incredible. It's that quality you expect from Giant Sparrow. But so what the game is, it's a collection of short stories about the death of each of the Finch family members. So, it's a cheery game. But and then you play Edith Finch as you're kind of going around. It just looks very surreal. It's all kind of told in that first person, and it just looks incredible. So the trailer's up on PlayStation Blog. Check it out because it looks lovely. It looks amazing. The textures, the graphics are just absolutely incredible. And like I say, so yeah, the house is there, and it's just kind of almost kept a record of each of the family's deaths and how the rest of the family reacted to it. So it looks like it's going to be a very kind of story-driven, surreal experience. But it looks like it could be very interesting. And I think this is it's up there with other titles of the similar ilk, which is like Everybody's Gone to Rapture and other games like that. So it's definitely one to check it out, and that should be out later this year.
Yeah, I did see the trailer. I think it looks really good. I sort of couldn't work out what was going on at first and then I worked out that it's like you say, it's being projected on the walls. The gameplay experience, you're playing it, and it's on the walls of the house, as if perhaps the structure of the house has the memories embedded into it, and you're playing out the memories on the walls or on the bed or whatever. And I thought, yeah, it looked really cool. It's by Giant Sparrow that made Unfinished Swan, so they've already got kudos. And it's another Studio Santa Monica game. Another good pick by them. I think I'm going to buy it as soon as it comes out. I like it. I love these games, and I trust the games that come from Studio Santa Monica, that they're going to be good. And the same will go for Everyone's Gone to the Rapture as well. That you've mentioned that, and I think I'm sold on that, because this sub-publisher of Sony, this Studio Santa Monica, they come out with really great individual kind of original games that they never fail to grab me, and long may that continue.
Absolutely, and it's quite nice to put your money behind a studio like that, and support them. It shouldn't be about it, but it seems to be the entire kind of gaming industry is about that first weekend. It's about that first week, it is about a number. And I've done it a few times. If there's a game come out that I love the studio or love the game or the subject matter, even if I haven't played it straight away, I've bought it straight away, because instead of I'll buy it later when my decks are cleared, I just kind of buy it straight away, just to add that support, because I know there's a lot of marketing people that are looking behind that first weekend sales, and this is definitely one. I'm with you on that one. This is definitely one to buy as soon as it comes out. Yeah,
supporting new and original concepts, I think it is very important, because otherwise the focus groups new ideas will fail focus group tests, and they'll say there's no market for it, and we'll just be stuck in a whirlwind full of Call of Duty clones.
Yes, absolutely. So, next piece of news, that's with you, Darren.
Yeah. So I saw this week that there's been a tease for the new Star Wars Battlefront game that Han Solo could be a playable character. This was on Attack of the Fanboy website, attackofthefanboy.com, and it's basically a poster from EA. Keep it on the DL44 with a picture of Han Solo's blaster on it. Now that's the DL. Keep it on the DL is a bit of a play on words with Han Solo's DL44 blaster pistol, which was his main weapon in Star Wars, and it's the one that he wasted Greedo with. Was it Greedo or Greedo?
Greedo.
Nightmare. Right, Greedo.
You've just lost some Star Wars kudos.
Greedo. I think that's a derogatory term that I used to use at school. Anyway, yeah, so it looks like Han Solo is going to be a playable character. I'm sure we'll see more at the EA event at E3, but how cool is that? Han Solo, though I'm not sure how good his blaster will be against lightning and lightsabers and what have you, but it'll still be cool, and I hope they've got lots of sound samples from the films.
That would be fantastic. Do you know what? I will just select that character every time. I love Han Solo. Even as a kid, Han Solo was just the coolest dude in the galaxy, and the fact that as a child, you watch Star Wars, and then you went on later to watch like Indiana Jones, and it's Han Solo again, but he's in a fedora, and it is like then later on when I got my film taste, and I started watching Blade Runner, and there's Han Solo again. Harrison Ford is a dude in my book, even though he does wear an earring sometimes. He is a dude, and I'd love to play as Han Solo. It was quite funny because when they showed that first clip, I was straight away. I was thinking, I hope Boba Fett, Han Solo, IG-88, I hope those guys are selectable as characters. Even if you do have a whole map with Han Solo jumping around, I wouldn't care. It just kind of makes me happy. And also, similar to the toys, they can have different outfits as well.
Yeah, and DLC outfits, here we come.
I'd buy that. I'd buy them for Batman. I love them for Batman. I'll tell you, I'm a marketing person's dream because I love the Batman skins, and if they brought out different Han Solo skins, I'd be all over it.
Wow, I suppose it's going to be a bit like Dynasty Warriors in that you've got these heroes like Han and Darth Vader, etc. And when they appear in the battle, they can sort of turn the tide of it.
Absolutely. I think there was a thing where they were talking about Darth Vader and Boba Fett, where it was almost like if you get so many kill streaks, or if you do this, or if you do that, then they appear for a short amount of time and just kind of wreak havoc. So hopefully we'll elaborate a bit more of that kind of at the E3 press conference. Yeah,
hope so. So the next piece of news that I have is that it's sort of been updated now, but when I posted this, which I think was only yesterday or the day before when I first found out about it, the PS4 patch for The Witcher 3 was being certified, but then last night when I put The Witcher on, as I said earlier on in the podcast, it downloaded the patch for me. So this brings the game up to version 1.03, which is in line with where the PC has been patched to. I believe that the Xbox One patch is, if it's not out already, it's going to be very, very soon. CD Projekt Red are getting these patches out there as quickly as possible. And again, a little bit like Bloodborne, there's loads of fixes in this patch. Corrects a bug where you were able to shoot NPCs with your crossbow, which probably could have been a bit of fun. Corrects an issue related to stamina regeneration when sprinting, a bug with spontaneous combustion of gas clouds, or maybe Geralt just had a spicy dish at one of the inns. And yeah, there's a whole plethora of different fixes there. If you just Google for the Witcher 3 PS4 patch, you'll be able to read them all there. And I think it's when you get the patch anyway, it's there. The patch notes are there that you can read and see. But without reading every single aspect, it's all going to help to give us all a smoother and more enjoyable Witcher 3 experience, and that can't do anybody any harm.
Absolutely. I mean, as you were saying, it's out on the PS4. I think it's coming to the Xbox One. I did check just before we started recording the podcast, and there was nothing there, so I didn't get the update. I just went straight into the game. But they have been talking today that the update will lock it to a solid 30 frames per second with the new Xbox One update, which will be coming soon. So that I'll look forward to that. I haven't. The frame rate hasn't been that jarring. There hasn't been a huge drop, even when you're in a very kind of highly populated area. But any fix is always welcome. But keeping on with The Witcher, because we can't talk about that game enough, just the sales figures for this week were announced, and Eurogamer did a bit of an article, and the sales figures for Witcher 3 are 608% up on Witcher 2. So when Witcher 2 came out on PC and Xbox 360, it's now, so Witcher 3 is 608% kind of more than the sales are more than the Witcher 2. Which I thought was very interesting. It shows how the hype has been building for this game, and people are seeing it. They want that next-gen experience, so they've gone for it. But one of the interesting things is the sales figures have come in, and 63% of sales of the first week, and again, kind of what we were talking about, how people just focus on that first week. 63% of the first week are on PS4, with 32% on Xbox One. And that leaves, if my math's correct, it's 5% on PC. So, wow. But I think that's I think they only track box copies, don't they? They don't track digital download. But that's kind of the split that we have with Witcher. It's almost a kind of 50% more on the PS4.
Yeah, this is a bit of a sweeping generalisation, but everyone on PC is going to download the game. I don't think they'd really get the physical copy. I think that'd be the exception rather than the rule. But it's interesting that you mentioned that, and let's just say that those figures do reflect that the PC the PC owners would be less than the console owners, and I think that would be fair to say because of the price involved, the price difference in console versus PC, especially a PC that's going to run The Witcher well, or equivalent of the consoles. Your PC was probably going to cost about £400-500. Well, I suppose that's the same as a console, but anyway, I'm just going to stick with it, and I'm going to say that people with PC are less prevalent than the console people. And there's been a big outcry in the PC community about downgrading of the graphics. I don't know if you've seen anything about that, Anthony.
I have, yeah. No, I did notice a couple of articles where they were saying that correct me if I'm right there, and they were saying that the demo that was shown maybe last year or the year before looked a lot better than the version that's been released.
Yeah, that's right. It's sort of, we're going back to the old Watch Dogs outcry again, well, any game outcry. I'm all for a bit of an outcry, really. But in its place, it sort of
Yes.
I get a bit bored with the same thing. It's like these days, it's like, oh no, I don't know, the lens flare wasn't right, and it's like, right, I'm cancelling my pre-order and all this sort of. I'm not into all this entitled gamer flatulence that's just all over the internet, particularly. Even though, I have my moments of being cynical, but I like to think that I'm fair and that I'd also, I can be talked around as well, with a decent debate. But what I'm getting at there is that, CD Projekt Red were interviewed, I think it was by Eurogamer, about this, and they were pretty upset about the comments and taking it to heart, which is bad because they should be reveling in the sales that they've got, as you've already said. But basically, he said, it wasn't intentional. He said the thing is, it was Marcin from CD Projekt Red, and he was saying that basically you don't know. It's a bit of a piece of string thing. This isn't a direct quote, by the way. He said, at the start, you're just setting out and you don't know where the road's going to take you, so you make the best thing that you can to show what the game's going to be like. And he said, but as time went by and as the world's getting bigger, you have to adhere to the constraints that are put upon you because of budget and getting the game out. You want it. I'd rather be playing The Witcher now than wait another 5 years for this experience, that maybe harked back to exactly the same as what was shown. And then the sort of PC crowd are all saying, but the graphics should be better on PC because, Witcher really, his home is on the PC and all this stuff. And anyway, essentially what I'm getting at is that CD Projekt Red said, well, you can say that and that's fine, but as for holding it back on PC to keep it sort of in parity or in line with the console releases, we did do that to some degree. It's all down to time constraints and money, and the thing is, you can't have it just on PC, because he said if people are saying, oh, well, you should have forgotten the consoles and just brought it out on PC, it's like if there was no console versions, there would be no Witcher 3, because the only way that it was feasible to develop such a ambitious project was to harness the profitability on all the platforms. So to those, crying on PC, it's sort of like, this is my opinion, it's like, well, you can moan about the graphics, fair enough, your PC that does 4K could have done better, that's fine, but without the sales revenue from the Xbox One and the PS4, you wouldn't be having Witcher 3 at all. What would you choose?
Absolutely, and even those sales figures that I just quoted, if they're correct, if they, they're, it's 5% on PC and 95% on console. So that just shows you kind of where, but as you were saying, there's going to be a lot of download, but it shows if that's number one in the charts right now, it beat off Farming Simulator 15 for the top slot. So, how is that possible? What kind of a world do we live in? But they, so exactly right. I mean, I've seen Digital Foundry have done some amazing kind of comparisons, and the PC version looks lovely. I've been running those YouTube clips at like 1080p 60 frames and watching them on my PC, and it just looks fantastic. It did kind of make me, again, we were talking about it last week, I want to invest in a PC, and seeing that, and I haven't seen what it looks like in 4K. I've seen some screenshots, if they can kind of show me any detail, but I've seen the screenshots of 4K, but I'd love to see if I could find a 4K stream of Witcher, or a 4K kind of movie of Witcher running in 4K to see what that looks like, because I bet it looks stunning. But again, a 4K PC is going to be quite expensive, so maybe the people that are moaning have just got they're not running the ultimate level of on Witcher. Actually, one question I wanted to ask you right at the top: what level are you playing The Witcher on?
I'm playing it on What are the levels?
I don't know. I mean, like, are you playing on like normal, normal +1, normal +2?
Yeah, it's above normal.
Right.
I think it said normal was for I don't know, something like a normal game. Surprisingly enough, and then it had another level, and it said if you pick this level, you don't regenerate when you meditate. You don't regenerate health. And I picked that one.
Right.
So I'm on sort of not the hardest, but the one before the hardest.
Gotcha. You made me look bad because I'm on normal, so I do regenerate if I meditate. But anyway, that kind of sorry about that. Just kind of sideline us from the news. So the next piece of news, Darren, is with you. That's
Just quickly, one more Witcher 3 thing, though we may go back to it later. I believe there's 2 DLCs now available for download on it for PS4, PC, and Xbox One, and there's a new quest which is called Contract Missing Miners, and an alternative look for Yennefer. These are part of the 16 free DLCs that are ongoing and going to come out periodically from CD Projekt Red. To get them, they're not an automatic download. I don't think you go to the store, and in Witcher 3 there'll be some content there for you to download for free. So I'm thinking, I'm just happy with the game, but it's there anyway, so just thought I'd mention that.
excellent. I mean, when it did come out, there was a DLC that allowed you beard control and different growths of beards and things like that. I downloaded it. I haven't seen any difference. At the moment, I haven't got a beard that's perturbing me because I like my character with a beard. But that sounds wrong. But yeah, that's really good. I like these little kind of trickling DLCs. It's very cool.
Well, it's all right when it's free as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I did go to the barber earlier on today, actually, and had a quick trim and change of hairstyle to long flowing locks. And I think the hair animation is great on the PS4. I do know that the NVIDIA Hairworks on PC really takes a lot of processing power to do. But yeah, I think the hair, just on the standard sort of poor people's consoles, I think it's looking very good on the PS4.
Right, got you.
So my next news item is a rumour from a guy called Tamaki, I think it's probably Tamaki. He's a guy who's known for being correct with rumours in the industry, and he tweeted out on the 25th of May that we just need to wait for Sony to announce an Uncharted remastered officially. So I don't know if there's been any change with that story, if it's become official, if Sony have come out and said yes, we're having an Uncharted remastered. But this guy is usually right. I'd say it makes sense for them to do that because obviously Uncharted 4 is coming out and they've delayed that till next year. That was my Christmas game, by the way, so I'm a bit annoyed. But yeah, I love the Uncharted games, and to play them again would actually be quite enjoyable. I don't know whether it's going to be all in a big pack. That would be nice. I
would love that. The one thing that I have never done is I haven't finished an Uncharted game. I've kind of played part. I don't know. I just because I keep gravitating back over to the Xbox. I think because they gave away the last. No correction. I have finished one. I finished it on the Vita. The console games I haven't finished. They did provide one with the PS Plus games, which was the last one, to Uncharted 3, which I really enjoyed. I was enjoying it, but then I just got kind of distracted by something else and I've never gone back. And I was thinking before because it could potentially be the last Uncharted comes out, that I should go back and play them, and I still have my PS3, so I was looking at that and thinking I could pick them up really cheap from Amazon or Game or something, and I was going to go back and play them. But if they're going to bring them out on the PS4, then I'm all for that. That's quite exciting. Just obviously I just need to find the time to play them all before. But then again, I do have a year, don't I? Because Uncharted's been put back. Yeah,
so you've got the time. You've definitely got the time. Did you play Last of Us?
Yes, I played Last of Us on PS4, and also the extra DLC as well, which was amazing. I just love that game from start to finish.
Yeah, Naughty Dog are really good. Yeah, I mean, I used to be all Xbox, and I'd only played the exclusives on my PS3, so I played the Uncharted on PS3 and a few other games. Mainly Uncharted it sort of sticks in my memory, but I've sort of flipped now. I've migrated to the other side.
Yeah, no, it's interesting how you do kind of gravitate. I mean, I must admit, I'm not so much kind of achievement hunter like I used to be, but it is just that achievement. If I'm going to play a third-party game, I might as well play it on the Xbox, because then that helps my achievement score.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's sort of like having the. If you don't pick your lottery numbers at random and you've got a set of numbers, you sort of have to do it, sort of thing. They've got you hooked.
Indeed.
So let's let's see what it's like. The thing is, those games are so beautifully made. The graphics were so amazing. I'll be interested to see how much more amazing they can be. Because crikey, they were jaw dropping as it was. The next thing that I've got, Project Cars on Wii U. I didn't even know that was a thing, that Project Cars was coming on Wii U. I was shocked to see this story the other day, that it was the game's latest build was struggling to run on the Wii U, and it was 720p at 23 frames per second. Now, I say that in that sort of that manner, but I wouldn't expect anything different. Project Cars is a powerhouse of a game. Wii U, I would never expect that it would be, up to purpose for doing that.
No, me neither. And thinking about the gamers that play on a Wii U, I wouldn't expect there is a big car following either. And that game is just car porn, and I wouldn't expect to see a big following. Whether it is kind of mums or dads that have bought it for their child, or there's just one console. I'm probably a little bit spoiled because we have all the consoles. That's kind of what where there are some people that they can only have one console. So maybe it's just the makers of Project Cars saying, right, we need to get it out on all platforms to maximise the investment. But I just wouldn't see that running. And I think it was quite interesting, the quote, which was, we can't get this above 30. I can't even get it to 30 frames. Maybe we'll wait for the next console. And then kind of in brackets, they were like, we're not saying that that's a thing. They were like, please Nintendo, don't sue us. We're just, but obviously Nintendo have already come out and said that the NX is a thing.
Yeah. On Eurogamer, there's a little line. Studio boss Ian Bell explained that the game may now launch on Nintendo's forthcoming NX console instead, whenever that is released. I mean, I love words like this, like may and could, especially in newspaper headlines and quotes, because it means nothing. And I absolutely agree with you. I never thought of it before until you just mentioned it. But if you want to play games like Drive Club, Project Cars, Project Gotham, you're not going to be buying a Wii U. Everybody who wants to race on Wii U are too busy on Mario Kart. They're happy with that. They're not going to be buying the likes of Project Cars. That's a serious game. You need a serious console for it. So yeah. I don't think it's any big thing. There'll probably be an outcry because there's always a drama, isn't there? But for me, that's not really. It's not really a great loss.
But if you think about it, if they start to work on that game now for the NX now, that could be a really good launch title. You already got, it looks fantastic. And if the NX is powerful, if it's more powerful than the PS4 or Xbox One, or has a different processing unit, you could have quite a graphical non-Nintendo game there that could draw people in.
A third-party powerhouse, graphically beautiful game coming out, like Mario 64 on the N64, apart from its third party. That'd be amazing. And I think we discussed this before, but there's no reason why the NX shouldn't be a lot more powerful than these consoles that we've got at the moment. I'm fingers crossed this is going to be like, they're going to learn from the mistakes of Xbox One and PS4. I don't know about mistakes, but they'll learn from Microsoft maybe spending a load of money on Kinect when they didn't really need to. But the thing is, I say that, Nintendo were the leaders at doing that sort of thing. The whole reason Kinect existed is surely because of the popularity of the Wii and the Wiimote. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is that because of Moore's Law, with technology sort of doubling in its power and halving in its price every year, or whatever it is, there's no excuse for the NX not to be jaw-droppingly amazing, and I just can't wait. I think they don't want to be making Project Cars for it. They want to draw a line under it, start developing Project Cars 2 for it, and making Project Cars 2 like a new benchmark in graphical finesse.
Yeah, exclusive to the NX, exclusive launch, just to that launch window or something like that. Yeah, there are, if they're serious about it, there are some serious things that they could do with that in time for the NX launch. And I'm with you. I wish we were seeing something this year. I wish we were getting maybe Tokyo Game Show or something like that. I wish Nintendo were just telling us something about the NX. Just something, a demo, a tech demo, something, because I really want to see what Nintendo, what they do next.
Yeah, me too. And I'm sort of on the quiet hoping for some amazing peripheral, like a HoloLens thing that's amazing.
Yes, absolutely. I would love to have Mario or Luigi in my living room.
Yeah, because they're so into their peripherals now. Or maybe they just think, hold on a minute, the Wii U didn't work, let's go back to, square one with it. So we shall see.
Absolutely. For me, I would love the NX to be something like it's a console that is better than the PS4, better than the Xbox One, but it's also a mobile game as well. So it's something that some kind of add-on that I can take onto the train or when I'm going on holiday and I can play my games, and then when I'm at home I can then connect it to the TV. This is exactly what I'm doing. It's not groundbreaking because it's exactly what I'm doing with my Vita. It's exactly, the cross-play, cross-buy stuff that Vita and PS4 have. It works really well. You get home, you upload your save, you continue going on the PS4 with a controller on your sofa, and it just works really well. And I just that is what I would love from a Nintendo game.
Yeah, I love that. The sort of the thought that your gaming experience follows you around instead of you having to be where it is based. Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, on to the next piece of news. The next piece of news is another indie title that's surfaced this week. I haven't heard of it before this, and it's an indie title called Perception. Now, Perception's a really interesting game. Perception it's a horror game. So it's a new horror game from the people who worked on BioShock. So when the BioShock studios were dissolved last year, I believe it was, obviously Ken Levine went his way and some other people who worked on BioShock went their way. So already it's got the pedigree of this could be an interesting game. But it goes a little deeper than that, because this game like I say, it's called Perception. And it's a first-person horror adventure that tells the story of a young lady called Cassie. Now, Cassie is blind, so the entire game is very dark. And when a noise happens, they call it echolation. So when a noise happens, or if you tap the floor with her stick, it then just kind of vibrates around the world, and then you can see items in the world. Think of it as Daredevil. If you ever saw that Ben Affleck movie, Daredevil, when he was looking around and whenever there was water or a noise, he could then see the echoes of that. And so the entire game is like that. So you're in the trailer, you're walking around this house, this mansion, and what you can do every now and then, it gets very dark unless there's maybe some wind coming in from an open window, and then you will see the curtains blowing in this kind of echolation. But then if it gets too dark, you can just tap the floor with your stick, and then you get these kind of echoes go out, and you can see all around you. And it just looks incredible. I can just imagine playing this. I'd love to play this with Oculus Rift, but I can imagine playing it, headphones on, dark room, and you would be totally immersed in this experience.
Wow, the way I'm visualising it is kind of like, instead of throwing paint in Unfinished Swan, you're throwing sound.
Yes, you have just painted a word picture, my friend. That is exactly it. And it looks tense. Just from the trailer, it looks very tense. It looks quite scary, and I am all in. It's on Kickstarter, so this is our kind of weekly Kickstarter thing that we're backing on Kickstarter this week. So it's on Kickstarter. They need to get 150,000. It's got 28 days to go. They're just talking about Steam at the moment with a launch in 2016. They have, it's 44,000 at the moment, just got the website up. It's 44,000 with 1,000 backers. And like I say, there's 28 days to go, and this is very interesting. I think if you and I do start looking at building our own PCs, I think this would definitely be a project that I would happily back. You have until June 25th to back it. It's very interesting, and check out the trailer. It's done on the Unreal Engine. It's going to be on Steam, like I say, in 2016. It looks incredible, and I would love to play this with Oculus Rift.
Wow, yeah, sounds really good. I don't know about it, so I'll have to have a little look at it. But yeah, you paint quite the picture with that, and you've got me interested. Definitely piques my interest there. It reminds me of. There was a game that came out, and I can't remember the name of it, but there was a game that came out on the iPad or iOS for phones as well, and it was played with sound, and you're supposed to close your eyes and put the headphones on, and you sort of tapped on the screen to move forward, and you just listened, and it was supposed to be really immersive and good, but I cannot for the life of me remember what that was called now. It doesn't sound like it rings a bell with you either. But
no, that sounds interesting.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure it's easy enough to find on Google, but yeah, that sounds really good. And a horror game that uses sound, like that, so you're going to be immersed. If you're really, really listening and concentrating, then there's plenty of opportunity to scare you there, I think.
There really is. So, and like I say, the trailer is quite tense. I mean, what we should do, maybe some of the games that we've been talking about during our news section, like Formula Fusion and Perception, we should stick some links into the podcast page on Gamers Lost Spark, so you can get quick access to those, because they're definitely worth checking out.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think that's a good call, and we'll do that. Yeah, and I mean, I finished with Formula Fusion now. It's been funded. Maybe I'll look back. Probably mention it again if it's a console release. But like this one you mentioned, I think if we give it a look back, maybe in 2 or 3 weeks and see how it's going, and fingers crossed that it'll get the backing it needs.
Absolutely, fantastic,
cool. Okay, yeah, and the next news item it's funny, because we've got a lot of news this week, and when it got to sort of Sunday, I was worried because I was thinking there's nothing happening. Is it the bank holiday or something that the games industry sort of shut down? And I was thinking, we're not going to have anything to talk about. But the last few days has been rife with things happening.
It really is, because we had a bank holiday in England, and it was also Memorial Day in America. So it was a long weekend, and I was the same as you. I was looking at our news section, and I was thinking, it's a bit light this week, But I think we're up to about 14 items of news at the moment.
Wow, and we're loving it.
Absolutely, and that's the thing, isn't it, about the gaming industry? You can have these kind of quiet patches, and suddenly everyone will just kind of get their news out, and it's always interesting, especially when you get new games or new experiences or something like that. And it really is just the perfect pastime for new shiny.
Yeah, I was almost thinking that we were working at the Daily Bugle or something with a deadline to it, because the news kept changing, today things were happening, things were changing, the stories were changing, and it's quite exciting.
It really is.
Yeah, so there's a new Portal table for the Pinball FX 2 game, which is available on PlayStation and Xbox, and the reviews I've seen say it's really good. It's a really good game using the Portal dynamic in the table to sort of teleport the ball from one portal to another. It's supposed to be really good, and I do like Portal. I've played and completed Portal 1 and 2, so that if you've got Pinball FX 2, it's a table that I would imagine is probably well worth a download, and it's got lots of assets from Portal 2. So you've got all the, GLaDOS' proper voice and everything like that, and Wheatley, Stephen Merchant, so it's probably going to be, it'll probably raise a smile as well as be a good fun game.
Yeah, that sounds great. They're churning out a lot of tables, aren't they, with Pinball FX 2? They seem to have a whole load of licenses that they're happy to use, and it's quite interesting because not only Portal has kind of turned up here in FX2, but Lego Dimensions, when that comes out, there's going to be a Portal pack for that as well. So you get little Lego portals, and that's going to be in Lego Dimensions as well. So it's very interesting.
Oh wow, yeah, Pinball FX2. They make original tables, don't they? They're always new ones. I went for Pinball Arcade, which is the pinball game that I bought on PS3, and that was because I really loved, when I was young, I really loved Star Trek: The Next Generation pinball table. It was my favourite, and I wanted to get it. I was all up for buying the table. And then,
what, the actual table?
Yeah, I was going to buy the pinball machine itself because I loved it that much, and I was thinking, well, it'd be fantastic, I tell you, man, nostalgia it's a powerful thing, isn't it? But anyway, then I found out that on the Pinball Arcade they were bringing it out, which was fantastic, because Pinball Arcade remake the classic pinball machines of old, and they're the tables they put. With Pinball FX2, they do new machines that they make up themselves for the format, but it's recreations of the old legacy pinball machines, the old classics that Pinball Arcade does. And I got the Next Generation Star Wars one, and it was exactly the same. It was amazing. You could see the love and detail that had gone into the table, and I was quite happy with that. And £6 is a lot better than the grand or the £2,000 that it would have cost me for the table, plus all the labour of sorting it out when it goes wrong. And I'm no DIY guy, I can tell you that much. But the thing that annoyed me with that was when I got my PS4, the Pinball Arcade game is available on PS4, and like, for instance, with Flow and Flower, they're free because I've already paid for them, but oh no, Pinball Arcade says, yeah, buy it again. and there's no difference. There's no difference. They haven't made it better because it was a beautiful thing anyway on PS3. You can't really make it any better. I think it's outrageous that they expect you to pay again for something you've already bought on PS3. It's really bad. That's one thing that gets me very annoyed because I can't see a tangible reason that they should charge again. Other than they just, want to fleece you and make you a mug. So that's a bit annoying. But yeah, that's the Portal table for Pinball FX2, and I bet it's really good.
Absolutely. I mean, I was watching a stream last night on Twitch. Major Nelson from the Xbox World was streaming it. I think it comes out today, so it comes out May 27th. And he was streaming an early version of it, and it just looked really good. I haven't dipped into any of these kind of Pinball FX yet. I've been tempted because there's been Marvel, there's been Star Wars. I've been very tempted. But watching Major Nelson kind of showing it last night, I was very tempted. To... it's quite funny because it's one of those things where I was watching on Twitch, and if it would have been available there and then, I think I would have just double tapped, went to the store, and I would have bought it. But when he was saying, this is out tomorrow, and now I've got a pack for my holiday, so there's things that got in the way. So they really should have, they lost a sale because it wasn't out a day early. But maybe I'll have a look at it later.
Does Twitch have that functionality that when you're watching a game, you can just click and buy it?
Well, no, what you can do, because I was watching it on the Xbox One, you could just double tap on the home button on the Xbox, and then you can go straight to the store. So
okay.
There's no link, but it's just very easy to do that because I was watching Twitch on Xbox One.
Yeah, but putting that, like the way you just described it, then putting that in, that would be really cool and really easy, which would probably lead to more sales.
Absolutely. That's kind of close to like drug dealing, isn't it? It's just like click here and you've got the game.
Yeah, you want to.
Go on. In the corner, just go on, click it. It.
First one's free, mate.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and that's scary as well because with that table, once you've kind of downloaded it and you've unlocked, they're all there, aren't they? There's a Boba Fett table. There is some really good stuff there.
Yeah, and that brings on to the PS Plus games that have just been announced today for June. Would you want to go through these, Antony, or do you want me to go through them?
Yeah, no, I'll go through them. We've got the PS Plus games for May or for June have come up, and it's surprising because they're you normally get the Xbox Ones first, don't you? And then PS have come out, but they're showing their hand early this month. So what we've got Metal Gear Solid Ground Zeroes for PS4, and that's free for PS Plus members. We've also got Skulls of the Shogun, a bona fide edition for PS4. Super Exploding Zoo for PlayStation Vita and PS4. Futuridium EP Deluxe, again for PS Vita, PS4. Call of Juarez Gunslinger for those people that are still rocking their PS3s. And Cloudberry Kingdom as well. So they're the ones that are going to be free next month.
Yeah, it'll be, what are we today? 27th. They usually come out on the first Wednesday of the new month, don't they? Which will be next Wednesday. So they should be up on Wednesday. I think it's Tuesday for the States. And so it'll be the second for Over the Pond and the third for us in Blighty. Yeah, it's quite a haul. It's quite a haul, isn't it? There, if you've got a PS3 as well, you've got 6 games.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. I mean, did you play Metal Gear Solid?
What, Ground Zeroes?
Yes.
No, I didn't. No, I got the hump because I thought it was outrageous to charge that amount of money for what was effectively would have been a demo in the good old days of the 360 and the PS3. So I rebelled and boycotted it. But I was getting more and more tempted as time went on, and especially when there was a bit of a drought of quality gaming. And I am a bit excited about MGS5 as well. But I held off, and now I'm really happy. So I'm going to get to play it for free. So I can't wait. That for me is a result. The rest, I sort of a bit right. I can't moan because they give them away with the package, and I'd be paying them anyway. But I'm sort of getting a bit sick of this sort of these littery games that are just like it's like, oh well, we'll just give them these indie games that I've never heard of. But a lot of the time they turn out to be good. I've never heard of Skulls of the Shogun. I haven't got a clue apart from that it's a turn-based strategy game. Never heard of Super Exploding Zoo. Or Futuridium, but I do love the fact that they're cross-buy. I think that's fantastic. And I'm sounding like I've got a bit of scorn there, but they could well turn out to be fantastic. I mean, they gave away what was the sequel to Bastion? They gave away the sequel to Bastion a few months ago, and that's a really cool game as well.
Yes.
I mean,
yeah, that's the one that has the narration as you're going along, isn't it? As you're playing the game, it just kind of narrates what you're doing. No, that looks very cool. I mean, I must admit, out of the bevy of games that's there, because I've played Ground Zeroes, I played that over on Xbox. I might play that on PS4 just so I can have a look and see how the graphics hold up. But the one for me that I want to kind of have a play with is Skulls of Shogun, and I like the idea of Super Exploding Zoo as well, and that's one for my Vita. So that's really what my Vita is at the moment. My Vita really is that indie portal that I play on the train, and it's just fantastic, So I'll give Super Exploding Zoo a go, but Skulls of Shogun, I definitely I'll download it and have a play.
Yeah, have you heard of it before, or is it just you just discovered it with the announcement?
No, I've heard of Skulls of Shogun. That's definitely a game that's either been on PS3 or Xbox previously, so I've definitely heard of it. I may have even played it. I'm sure maybe even my nephews have played it and told me to play it, so I think maybe, my nephews Will and Ed, I'm sure they've kind of told me that I must download it and play it, so it looks like a game that they would tell me to play.
Yeah, I bet it'd be good then. I'd never discount the sort of the recommendation of the kids, because they've got some good gaming prowess. They've got taste. The children and the youths of today, they know what they're doing. They know a good game when they see one.
Absolutely, those guys, they were the ones that introduced me to Castle Crashers. So they kept telling me every time I saw them, they kept telling me about Castle Crashers, and so I downloaded it and played it and just loved it. I just thought it was such a great button bash, and it was really good fun.
Yeah, that is a fine game. So yeah, that's the PS Plus games for June, and really generous of Sony. It's a good hand to play prior to E3, and the rumour is that Microsoft are going to make a nice generous announcement as well. Rumours pointing to, well, I don't know if they say this every month. The rumour mongers are saying it's going to be sort of Rise and Forza. So we shall see. Who knows until they actually say it. So yeah, we'll see what happens there.
That would be really good. I mean, I've played both of them and have both of them, but there would still be, for those people that have just bought an Xbox, having those two games for free would be fantastic. And then it would get rid of that Pool Nation FX or whatever it's called that's been free for like the last 3 months. It's like.
Yeah, so, did you give that a go?
I did, and I was just like, right, I'm deleting this.
Yeah, I didn't last, I think 10 minutes. I was so underwhelmed. It was disgraceful. The menus, oh man, I
was hoping for Steve Davis's snooker, but in the pool world, and I didn't get it.
Tell you what, Steve Davis's snooker on the Commodore 64 would have been better.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, it's got all these shiny graphics. It's like Unreal Engine 4 or whatever it was, and yeah, the balls did look shiny, but it was taking like half an hour to load. It was ridiculous for a blooming pool game.
You mentioned that in their marketing campaign, now including shiny balls.
Yeah.
I'd buy it just for that. So
yeah, the sequel, balls are even shinier.
Right, and on to our last piece of news, which unfortunately is quite a sad piece of news, but it happened today. It was reported today, and it was a lorry load of Splatoon amiibo edition, so a very special edition of Splatoon, which comes out this week. So it was the amiibo one that came with the little squid guy. So I know there's a girl and there's a boy edition, but this was the squid edition of Splatoon, and unfortunately, Game's entire stock has been stolen. So they sent out an email to everybody who had pre-ordered on the website. It's quite a sad. I don't know why I'm laughing, but it's just quite a sad story. Where they said that we regret to inform you that the lorry transporting Splatoon stock from Nintendo's European warehouse to Game has been stolen. And then they go on to say it's very strange, extraordinary circumstances, and they can't. Unfortunately, that was their stock. They don't have more stock of this Squid edition, so they're offering the boy or girl edition at a lower rate. But that's it. So somebody has made off with Games UK's their entire stock of Squid edition amiibo, and I just find that. A, funny, obviously, because I can't stop laughing, but B, really sad that someone's got like a lorry load of Splatoon. So, Will they end up on eBay? Will they end up in CEX? Will they end up in, somewhere? But you do know if anybody trades that in, surely they're going to be, they can trace it back.
Yeah, they'll be well investigated. I mean, do you think they got the wrong lorry? Do you think they were after something else? I mean, was this meticulously planned in some sort of Great Train Robbery-esque shadowy dark room, like weeks of planning to get this Splatoon lorry? And
if they held up the lorry, did they do it with guns full of ink, is what I want to know.
Oh, wow.
But it's just so sad, how did they make off with that? It's just... But yeah, the kind of lower editions, they're okay. Everyone's got those. It's just these special squid ones.
Yeah, the whole lorry full of the entire stock for game. I mean, I bet that was at least a few thousand squid. Boom.
You're doing the jokes this week.
Hey.
Right. Okay, we should move on now.
Yeah,
but that was really sad. So hopefully there'll be an update soon, and maybe we'll get them back.
Yeah, and hopefully no one was hurt in the robbery and stuff, and we can just sort of be mystified about the reason, the motive for that particular crime.
Absolutely. I mean, amiibos are hard enough to get hold of without someone kind of nicking all of them. So
I bet it's that guy. That guy that's sort of buying up all the amiibos so that nobody else can. Did you hear about that?
Yes, I did. Do you know what? You're right. He's probably sitting in his living room right now, full of those squid amiibos, chuckling like an evil villain. So that's it for the news. That was all of our kind of ginormous news section. We had 14 items of news, so that was really cool. Kind of leading us on our next piece. Now, this is a little bit of a kind of work in progress review, but on Friday, my pair of Turtle Beach Elite 800X turned up. So they were released on Friday. I pre-ordered from Amazon because I needed a new pair of headphones, and I saw that these were coming out. So they came out. So I thought I'd just kind of share with our listeners kind of what my first impressions of these are, because I played both The Witcher and I also played Destiny with them over the weekend, and I was blown away. My ears were blown away by these. They were absolutely fantastic. So they're completely wireless. They have a little dock. They have this kind of almost like an iPhone docking station that they magnetically click into.
Oh, nice.
And they look so nice. And the good thing about them is, they're noise cancelling, which you can turn on and off. So, which is great, because I found that when I was playing Destiny online and I had noise cancelling turned off, I was a little loud. So I turned the noise cancelling off. They're Bluetooth, so they also work with my iPhone as well, or iPad, or any Bluetooth device. So I found that I could just listen to music, I could listen to a podcast with the headphones as well. So I was wirelessly just connected to my to my device, which was fantastic. But playing games, the sound was amazing. They're 7.1, so in each ear there is these kind of 7 speakers that just kind of push sound around, and that was really evident in both playing Destiny online. You could really hear people coming up behind you, or kind of enemies coming up behind you, but also on The Witcher, you could hear just everything. When the wind started to kick up, it was really placing sound in a certain position. And one of the great things about these is that they also have kind of presets that are set up, and there's an app as well that you can download on your PC or Mac, which you can tweak these. But they have settings like first-person shooter mode, they have adventure mode, they have a racing mode, which I haven't tried yet, but they have one called superhuman hearing mode, and that just heightens everything. And playing The Witcher on superhuman hearing mode was incredible. I turned it off for a while because there was just like so much sound. But these Elite 800X, they really are kind of delivering. And I want to play a bit more, and I also want to watch some movies as well, because as well as game modes, they're Dolby Digital, so they also have a movie mode as well. And I think there's about 3 or 4 different modes that you can switch between. And it was fantastic. Straight away, paired to my Xbox. When I fire up my Xbox now, because the headphones are connected, it just says automatically paired, so they're ready. You just stick them on, turn them on, and they're incredibly comfortable as well.
Wow, this sounds amazing. I mean, so it delivers 7.1 sound through headphones. That's just it sort of beggars belief to me. That
No, absolutely. It's like I had a pair of Triton before on Xbox 360, and they did a similar thing as well, where there is 7 minute speakers in the headphones, and they just channel it around, and it works really well. Like I say, when I was playing Destiny and an enemy was coming up behind me, you could really hear that sound was behind you.
They sound absolutely amazing. I want some, but unfortunately, I've got no need for them.
And they are quite expensive. They are kind of a higher end of the Turtle Beach.
Yeah, they're the best ones they do, aren't they, at the moment?
They are indeed. Yeah, they do. When I was looking on the website, they do actually. Unfortunately, the ones that I've got are Xbox, but they do a PlayStation 4 version as well, which is just, unfortunately there's no kind of cross-platform version, but there is a PlayStation version as well.
That's a shame, but I mean, you've got both consoles, Anthony, so you know it's only right that you should probably buy a set for your PS4 as well, really.
Yes, and then my wife would kill me.
Yeah. But,
it's quite funny because when I was thinking about playing Battlefront, Star Wars Battlefront on PS4, I did think the same thing on Sunday when I was playing Destiny. I was thinking, I need a pair of these for Star Wars Battlefront, and then I quickly kind of just park that thought. But like I say, what I will do is I'll review them a bit more, maybe in the coming weeks. But my first kind of, I'd say about 4 hours with them, I'm really enjoying them. They're very comfortable. They're quite light. They're not bulky at all. And they're really good. Like I say, the presets are all lovely. It's very easy to pair. So I'm very happy with my purchase.
Wow, that's great. I've been noticing the sound in The Witcher. I've got 5.1 set up. I've never gone to 7.1, even though my amp can support it, just because putting those speakers right in the middle sort of doesn't work with my room, and I'm happy with 5.1, and I've been noticing the sound, the clarity of the wind coming from one set of speakers or whatever. It's really good on my 5.1 setup. But if they deliver, as they do, because they're high end, and you know they couldn't ask for the money if they didn't. And from also what you're saying, it must be phenomenal to have that so on your ears and experience that. I bet it's amazing. I really do. It makes me want to get some, but because of the way that I game with Claire, she sort of watches me. I'm quite lucky because she'll watch me play a game and we sort of chat while we're doing it. So it would sort of remove me out of that if I got some. So it's not going to be something I get. Though that does worry me about things like Oculus, because they're more of a singular experience, and I'm always up for me. Gaming has always been about with a friend, getting together and playing together or going through an adventure together. But they sound stunning. I'd love to have a go.
No, they're really nice. Like I say, I mean, when I'm playing with Nicola, we're playing kind of online. We've got 2 TVs in our movie room next to each other with our own Xboxes because we don't like split screening. And we actually designed the room around that, but we didn't like split screening. And I won't have those. But if we were then jumping into a multiplayer match, then Nicola would have kind of her headphones, which are the Xbox One headphones, and I would have those. So I would have a slight advantage. But it's quite interesting. One of the things that when I was playing Destiny online, I was asking the guys that I was in the room with, my friends on the kind of how good was my speech, and they said it was very clear. So even though there's no microphone or no mouthpiece, it was really picking up my speech quite well.
Wow! So a big thumbs up then.
Yes, indeed. So, well, that's about it for this episode. I think all that remains to be said is a big thank you to everyone who's listening and have been listening for the last couple of episodes. If you want to find out more about us or kind of see some of the ongoing review or some of the articles that Darren's putting up, you can find us at gamersoftheLostSpark.com. You can also find us on Facebook. We're gamersoftheLostSpark.com there. We're Lost Spark Pod on Twitter. Darren, where can they find you online?
Yeah, you can get me online on PS4, Xbox One and Twitch with the gamer tag Wythamator. And I've got a channel on YouTube called Dazza Gamer. I'm usually, at the moment, I've got into a bit of a habit. I'm streaming Spelunky from about 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock most nights. So if you want to watch me on that, join in. And if there's a bit of a demand, I can always stream a bit of The Witcher as well, because it's just so easy, and I'm just sort of getting into this quite recently, just the broadcasting aspect. So you can get me there. What about you, Antony?
For me, I am Chessman on Xbox Live, I'm PS-Chessman on the PlayStation Network, and I'm Chessman UK on Twitter. We've placed links to all of these gamer profiles on our About page on our website, which is gamersoflostart.com, so you can find it there. Also, if you have any feedback, please send it to our email address, which is feedback@gamersoflostart.com. Keep an eye on Twitter at LostPartPod for more updates, information. We're also posting some articles and we're putting links there as well. If you'd like to, you could subscribe via iTunes or leave us some feedback, and that would be great. It would be great to hear from you. Let us know kind of what we're doing well, what you don't like, or maybe some questions that you have for future episodes. So that's about it, and just a slight warning, there'll be no Gamers of the Lost Part pod next week as I'm on holiday, but we will have one in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, that's right. We'll reconvene in 2 weeks after Antony's had his well-earned break. I may get an article or two up. I'll see how I'm fixed for time. And yeah, just to echo that, thanks to all you listeners out there for tuning in and listening to the podcast. If you've got any advice or just any feedback where you think we could improve, just please let us know, or any topics for discussion, and we can always work that into the format.
Fantastic. Right. Thanks very much. Cheers. Bye.
Thanks, guys. Bye.